And we're live. Welcome to episode 224 of the MailleWerX Chainmail Livestream. My name's Sean. I run MailleWerX.com, where you can find all the chainmail themed apparel and accessories that your heart desires. How's everyone doing tonight? What's going on? How was your day? What is today? Monday? How was your Monday? What did you do today? How was work? Just getting set up here. Myself a little pile of rings going and work on this jelly cube. I want to finish this jelly cube, finish what I got of the coif. How you doing, Barb? And then finish, and then work on the Finnegan's Wake flag some more. Let's go to the overhead cam. Thanks for liking the stream, Barb. Appreciate it. Remember, best way to support the stream, like and share. Liking and sharing is free. You can also subscribe or follow, or what do they do on Twitch? They do something over there. I don't remember what. Anyway, so I had an interesting day. First thing this morning, I had a job interview. It's very similar to the job I had before. And there are some red flags. But I don't know if that's going to make or break the deal. I'm supposed to get with this... supposed to do like a job shadow thing, which is weird because I haven't filled out any paperwork for the company, and they want me to go and I'm assuming they're going to pay me for this. What are the red flags? Not having any paperwork done before I go out and shadow this other nurse. Like no W4 filled out. They don't do drug screens, they said. I don't do drugs, so it doesn't matter to me either way, but usually that's something a nursing company does. And I should qualify that statement a little bit. They do drug screens if it's warranted. Which for any other type of business is fine. You know, if you're let's see, if you work at Wendy's and you smoke weed, you know what? Okay. Wendy's, pretty sure they screen all their employees. But when you have someone's healthcare on the line, being a company that would risk hiring someone who is using, that's not a risk that I would be willing to take if I was running the company. But they said that, you know, they hadn't really had a problem with it, which is good. I think most nurses don't do illegal substances. So it's probably not that big of an issue. It just seems weird. So, and then the way they run their pay chart is you get paid by the visit, and they want you to do 6 to 7 visits a day, which is possible. But then you have to chart 6 to 7 visits. Now, I've been doing this home health stuff for a while, and when you get to about 5 patients, you have about 3 hours of charting. That's an 8-hour day. Anything more than that, and you're working into your evening trying to get all the charting done, which is great if you want to make a lot of money working for this company, I guess they give you the opportunity to do so. It's kind of sounding mandatory. So, and the rate of pay depends on the type of visit. Like, are you admitting someone? Are you discharging someone? Are you doing just a regular visit? So, the more of one type of visit you have, like if you have 2 or 3 admissions in a day, you can make more money. But you're paid for the visit, not how long it takes you to chart it. And I'm sure they factored in a little bit of how to compensate for the number of hours with how much they're paying per visit. Like if you're competent at charting, you can go and do the visit, and the visit takes you half an hour, and the charting takes you half an hour, and you make $50, right? So it's a real weird pay scale, and I'm sure I could, I don't know, learn all the ins and outs about it. And it seems a little daunting. So 6 patients a day plus all the charting equals, well, it's more than just no home life. You're just going to be charting the whole time. And if they're like most companies want you to chart at the visit. They want you to do like 60% of your charting at the visit. And so your visit time is lengthened. Instead of spending 30 minutes in a patient's home doing their assessment, doing their wound care or whatever, right? You're now sitting out in front of their house in your car charting. It's not the most ideal place to chart for starters. And you're charting on a tablet. It's not like you're charting on a computer. So, anyway, I have my concerns, let me put it that way. It's what your mom's nurse do. Your mom's chart stays here. But this is all on computer. So, the chart is all electronic. It's concerning. And fact of the matter is, I have put steps in place to make it so that I can replace my income and not go back to nursing in the first place. So, like, I'm looking for, I'm not looking for reasons to turn this job down. There are reasons to turn this job down, like I just said. But like, I'm not willing to jump into any job just because, right? So I have the means with which to support myself, and so I'm going to continue to pursue that here, starting this month. So got through that interview, and that was the first part of my day. The first part of my day. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about companies wanting nurses to chart at the patient's house, right? That is their home. You need to be as inobtrusive as possible, you know? Like, granted, there are things that you have to do and have to chart while you're in there, right? But the bulk of stuff can be done outside of their home, right? So why is it they want you sitting out in front of the patient's house charting versus charting at home? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. My son is currently upstairs tearing down the house. I can hear him stomping around. He's a solid kid. Right? Like, he's not heavy. But he's a big 7-year-old. This music's about to put me to sleep. So then I got started. I'm gonna pitch some software to a company, see if they're interested. So I got started on that project. I might have to go beat my son. What's going on up there? You hate tangled ring piles? How goes the evening? How's it going, John? You hate tangled ring piles. Me too. I don't know. They don't really bother me. I got like some of the green rings from early 2000s are all jumbled together. But other than that, I've got a couple things of open rings that are all jumbled together too, but that's been it. So, after I get done working on this pitch, took my kiddo to baseball, and he did very well. He listened very well. Unlike what he's doing right now, if I'm hearing this correctly. Which was, it was nice. It was nice to see him do well, because he's been cooped up for the last 2 years pretty much. Just hanging out at home, playing video games, watching movies, watching YouTube, whatever. Because 9 months out of the year here, you can't go outside. And, you know, for 2020, 2021, nothing was going on. Everything was canceled. So it's good to see him out of the house, running around, playing a little baseball, going through them, pre-opening them as fighting the massive rings is slowing me down versus my own clip rings don't tangle due to there being no curve for the rings to slip into each other. Nice. So you are organizing your tangled up rings. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either. I am so disinterested in working with rings that aren't ready to go, you know? If I had to tumble them, that's one thing. I can do that. I am finally set up to do that. Wait for them to dry. Fine, I can do that. But other than that, if they're not, like the rings for the coif that I ordered from the Ring Lord, those rings aren't ready to go. Most of them are sixed. You gotta true them up, each ring. That is, I don't know why I didn't just send them back. You know? I really should have. I really just want to have my rings ready to go and work on them right then and there. Come on, go in there. Let's go. Having to spend 3 to 4 extra steps de-sixing rings as you weave adds that much more time to weaving. Oh, absolutely. We'd be so much farther along on that coif if I didn't have to. Well, one, if the rings had been the same size as what I had started with, right? And then two, if the rings weren't all jacked up. So I think I am going to take the rings that I started with and just make them into a little dice bag. Call it a day on those. I'm not gonna be getting, or I'm not gonna be combining those two ring sizes now that I've seen all the problems with the rings I'm currently working with. So I hope that as TRL improves their website and their business, I hope they improve their product as well. Man can dream, right? I don't remember if I think it was on the stream where I was talking about making a inlay program, right? I saw an image today of someone who was working on something, and it looked very much like an inlay program that people would be able to use someday in the future. And I thought it was very interesting looking. It had a long way to go. We've seen here shortly how tail rings are. Just ordered 10,000 12 gauge black AA rings to finish a cape. Alright, Barb, have a good night. 10,000. Rings are not all one color in that pic. Yeah? Not all the same color, huh? That's not good. I mean, they were, and they may still be, for some people, a great place to start to get rings from. But as time progresses and more people make rings and the quality continues to go up, you know, they are, if they're not impressing me. Some of the rings that image were 3 colors to 1 ring. It would not work well with mail, but it's showing promise. Nice. Good. And you know, I want them to succeed. I want them to do well. But in order to do that, they're going to have to, the quality control is going to have to come up a lot. So that's, you know, I don't know why it doesn't. I wonder if, because they are the largest ring manufacturer with the most materials and most sizes available, that it doesn't affect them as much as it would otherwise. You know, like, people still order from them because they're the biggest shop in town, you know. Possible. You want their price to go back down, or quality needs to reflect the cost increase? Yeah. Like, I don't mind paying more for rings as long as it's their, you know, high quality. But I do mind paying for rings and then getting a bunch of them that are jacked up. And the black anodized aluminum rings that I got from them were damn near picture perfect. The one thing, and I don't know why this is. Why are their manufacturers still making anodized rings with the ends where the rings are cut not anodized? Can anybody? I know some of them aren't. I know some of them do anodize the ends, but some of them don't, and I don't understand that. Other than that, they anodize the coil and cut them, and that's great. And you shouldn't see the ends of the rings anyway, right? But, you know, we're not all perfect. Some of us suck at this. I guess I just, like, once it was understood that, well, I mean, I think people prefer to have the ends anodized. I could be wrong about that. I know that's been a topic of discussion before where many people were interested, so much so that it became a reality. So why continue not anodizing the ends? You know? Doing them as rings, it's hard to keep the rings from overlapping and not getting color on the full ring even. I understand it's difficult. But, okay. And I understand that anodizing rings poses a larger challenge than, say, I don't know, anodizing, what are they called? The little music players, the Apple iPods. But would it be acceptable if like the edges of your iPod weren't anodized because it was too difficult? I don't know. Maybe the thought process is that when you ruin a batch, you can't etch and redo the batch. The whole batch is junk and need to remake the rings again. So I would have to really dig into how anodized aluminum is done with rings, because if there's one thing I know is that there is a solution for everything. You know? I mean, I understand there's a risk of losing a batch. And like I said, like I was saying, the thought process might be that the rings are supposed to be closed, and if you can see the ends, then you're doing it wrong, right? I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, maybe that's fine with saw cut, but for machine cut rings, I would think that theirs might be all the way anodized. When doing 20,000 rings in a batch, it's cotton. John, I get it. Like, I understand it's cost prohibitive to do it perfectly without a perfect solution. And I'm not trying to be hypercritical. I'm just saying that well, okay. I was gonna say if it's expected for it to be done, why would they keep doing it? Why would they not do it, right? But it might not. People might not expect it to be done. They might say, saw cut rings, you don't need to anodize the ends because the ends should be closed that you don't see it, right? To get a good even coat, you can't have the things touch in the color bath. And it's easier to do that on a coil than it is once the rings are individual. Even with these 18 gauge 1/4 inch black rings that I'm looking at from TRL that are saw cut and the ends are not anodized, right? When you see a closure, okay, my closures they're pretty good. They're not 100%, but they're pretty good. I've been practicing this for a long time, but there's still that little thin line of silver down the black. I'm sure it happens with other rings. Other darker colored rings. So to do it as rings is hanging each ring by itself, then dipping it or some sort of machine to shake the whole bath the whole time, and if the rings catch, tangle, those will not evenly color. A shaker table. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be individually stringing rings personally. I mean, but what do you guys think? Do you guys prefer to have your anodized aluminum to have the ends anodized or not? Because it may not be as big of an issue to people as I assumed. That could be very well. That line is the crazing line from the saw slicing through the anodized layer and removing it from more than just the end, so we'll always leave a line. And my folks would just like to go with tying anodized after assembly. There's a solution. Not use anodized aluminum. There you go. I don't blame people for not using anodized aluminum because I don't like to use it myself. And knowing what I know now, I would not have bought nearly as much of it as I did, but I don't have a ton, so. And I suppose that if that's my only complaint, then they're not coming out too bad, really. I just find it's just odd to me. Like if someone powder coated a wheel and they didn't get the part where, you know, they hung it by an exposed part of the front of the wheel, or not anodized. If someone powder coated a wheel, right, and you hit this, you know, mark where the wire holding it up was on the visible part of the wheel, like that would irritate the hell out of me. Why you only work with it upon request and prefer good stainless. Yep. I prefer stainless too. I would like to work with more titanium. If I could make everything from now on titanium and stainless steel, that would probably meet all of my needs. Of course, what I'm working with now is bright aluminum. Wally got me hooked. Wally from chain-reaction.ca, or Chain Reaction up there in Canada, another Canadian ring maker whose stuff looks quite promising. I'm quite happy with the stuff he's sent me. Yeah, but this project, work on the coif next, finish the rings that I have with that, take the other starter coif that I made and turn it into a dice bag of some kind. Then I got the wall art project I haven't been working on, I've been neglecting. Lots of stuff to do. That's just some of the older projects. This jelly cube was an unnecessary throw-in. It was not supposed to be. I was not supposed to buy these rings. But that's okay. Oh, man. I will get it all worked out. We will finish it one day. And now that my hand is feeling better, knock on wood, I might be able to squeeze in a few hours of work during the day. So we will see. See if I can't get a little bit more done off stream, which I would like to do, but I haven't been for the past, I don't know, week and a half or so. I've been hobbling around with wrist braces on, trying to not irritate my wrists any more than necessary. They're the only two I've got, and I need them both. And I don't know, like, I wasn't doing anything except working on some chainmail, which is enough, but I started to have sharp pain when I was moving my wrists and not holding anything. So something was inflamed. I think it's worked its way out now. I think it's okay. Should try some of that hand ninjutsu. I do a lot of hand stretches. And I still manage to irritate the shit out of my wrists, so. Or a set of Chinese medicine balls. I have not done the Chinese medicine balls. Come on, there we go. I really want to do this in a multicolor. I really want to do a multicolor cube, like more than one. Like this, don't get me wrong, this looks great. You can hardly see what I'm doing on camera. And we're even zoomed in a little bit. But also, multicolored jelly cubes are awesome. Or maybe I'll just make one out of titanium and then anodize it a bunch of different random colors. So there's something I'd like to get, is a anodizing setup. More cameras, more workspace. We'll get there. We got here, you know. Heard your thoughts before you could finish typing it. John, I find that on many things you and I are of a similar mind. Except when it comes to anodizing the ends of rings. Apparently. Yeah, anodized titanium jelly cube. That sounds fun. Should definitely do that. Riveted jelly cube. Riveted jelly cube. Should totally do that. The fucking Brilliant Twist of Skulls rain chain that he made. That shit's nuts. That's a cool project. Riveted titanium would be insane. Riveted anodized titanium jelly cube. And this is a $40,000 jelly cube. Can you rivet titanium? Like from home? With the... Can you take titanium rings with the tools that you have to make your riveted rings and make riveted rings out of them? Like titanium's fairly brittle, right? So does the smashing the ring to form the... where you place the rivet, does that... like what does that do to the metal? I don't know enough about titanium, working titanium. Working with it. I've worked with very little. I would work with more if I had an anodizer. Of course, just need to flatten them while hot and use a softer tie for the rivet. Okay. So it can be done. You gotta like heat it up before you smash it. Anneal it a little bit. That sounds like something I would have to do in my garage. Could cheat and use niobium rivets. Interesting. It would be like one of them decorated jeweled eggs worth hundreds of thousands. Yeah. No, I mean, it is a rare project. Difficult to do. Demonstration of multiple skills. What if, now hear me out, I don't know if you can do this. What if you did a riveted titanium jelly cube, right? With captures, gem captures. Like a titanium Magic the Gathering card deck. I don't know what that means, but it sounds rare and valuable. I mean, I know what Magic the Gathering is, but what titanium means, like made from titanium, like Magic the Gathering cards made from titanium. Or is the titanium deck like a gold deck or a purple deck? It's just a classification. I don't know anything about cards or card games. My son has a bunch of Pokemon cards and he tells me they're rare and valuable. I'm like, buddy, I got them at Target. They might be one day. You have a 60 card deck of 0.20 thick laser etched card deck Magic Gathering cards as one of your artifacts in your hoard. Really? So it is titanium. And they're laser etched, they're not like anodized or anything. What's your address again? Come rob your house. Oh, it's 100% made by John Daniels, former. Really? So it's not a production of Magic the Gathering. How did you land your hands on that? Don't give you a reason to employ some of your melee weapons. Because I know he was I don't know, making like a shop or something and selling stuff out of it, but I don't know if my Facebook feed doesn't just show him and his work, because it does that for a lot of people, right? I see a lot of the same people over and over and over again, because that's what Facebook shows me. And whenever I see someone new, I try to like show my interest so that Facebook will show me them, and then I never see them again. You was crazy enough to ask him and pay the cost for him to make them for you when he was making the Fuck 2020 snowflakes? Nice. Okay. So this is the only set. It's the only one in existence. You know what? Send me a picture of one. I want to see like the quality of this. I know some people that would be very interested in that. It's the only one you know of? Interesting. Because now I'm trying to think like how, you know, I mean, its valuable is only derived from what someone is willing to pay for it, right? As with all things. So what is someone willing to pay for something like that? I would like to know. Is it something that anyone with a laser etcher could make? Found the gravity. Because what if you did like a titanium Pokemon set? My concern though is that if you tried to sell it, you would be sued for any earnings on it. And, you know, sued because you would have to sell, in order to get the money you want from something like that, you would have to sell it, try and sell it like an auction house. I'm very curious. Like, what is the amount you would get for it out, you know, very white hat, out in the open, and what is the amount you would get for it on like a black hat operation? There's a 5-ounce Argentium MTG cast lid and a case of Winning Glass tied for the box. It's one of those combo skills to make something that art unobtainable without the skills and folks to make all the parts. Huh. That's very cool. I think I spent around $900 in total for the whole project. trying to figure out if I think that's a bad price or not. I think that's a pretty good price. That's less than what I would have thought you paid for it. The lid alone is $400. I'm sure. I want to be more like John. John's cool. John has cool stuff. I don't have cool stuff. I just sit here in my basement and I put these rings together and I do it on video because it makes me get it done. We make cool stuff. I don't know. I try. Right? Like, okay. I'm at the point now where I'm like, okay, I have the ability to form a cool thought in my head and execute it, and I expect to get something that resembles what pops up in my head. Right? Everything I've done, a lot of what I've done has been trial and error. And just stumbling upon something. But the last couple of years, I've been able to formulate out plan out a project in my head, right? And so a lot of the stuff that I'm working on right now was stuff that I tried, 100 years ago, and it's not as cool as what I'll make in the future. It's okay, right? In the future, some of the stuff I want to try and make. Yeah, just unreal, I think. You would love to make an inlay that is even half as good as what you see folks make. You would not like the outcome, leave it half finished. Hey, that's where I started. Just leave it for 10 years, 15 years and come back to it and you'll be like, oh yeah, that'll be fine. I can do that. The way I ended up doing the inlay, if me or someone else gets a program up where you can take a picture and pixelate it into some type of inlay program, which would be awesome, and that person would be way cool. Where was I going with that? Oh, the inlay process is going to become so much more efficient, right? If you can eradicate the planning step of it, right, it's knowing all the colors and knowing how many to get ahead of time so they all match. I get you. I stumble into that problem myself. I'm gonna mark this side because I have to do one more layer on this side before I finish this next row. Right, so if you can take a picture and upload it into a program and it pops out an inlay in multiple different sheet weaves, okay, and then pumps out a number that gives you how many different colors you need of what and how many rings you need of each color. Okay, that cuts out all of your prep work, and then it's just following a pattern, like a cross stitch pattern, which oddly enough make good inlay patterns. And I would love to like stop where I'm at on this Finnegan's Wake inlay and watch, and you know, prep that or do that with the image that I'm working from. But the way I'm doing it, the way I'm freehanding it, it is just going to be a pain in my ass until it's done. So you can cross stitch. If you can cross stitch, you can make an inlay. Cross stitch patterns aren't exact, so you have to fiddle with them a little bit, but they're pretty good. They're a lot better than nothing for starters. They at least give you an idea of what you're doing, and then if you freehand some stuff a little bit, you're good to go. All right. Oh, that row is done. Looking pretty good. You need to make another cross-stitched mail piece. What is that? I need to make a lot of stuff. I need to have time to make it all, and I need to make it so that it's all really cool and that people want it. You cross stitch into mail like fabric with normal cross stitch embroidery fly? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I've seen your stuff on that. I think. Yeah, you've shown me that. I know what you're talking about. I am really debating on just starting another cube after this. Right, all the sides will be equal after this layer. Right? And it's a little over 2 inches. Right? It's like, do I just... Like, it's a good size. I should just need to be enormous, not for this. It's fine. I will compare it to my juggling balls and see how I feel about it. So we're at over an hour a layer right now, and that would be 6 more hours on it at a minimum. I have the rings right now. Like Neil Armstrong solo and more aerodynamic. Okay. Like Neil Armstrong solo and more aerodynamic. What is that in reference to? Sorry, I have one jelly cube compared to your balls. I am a child. All right. Yeah, right now. Those, you know, I like those juggling balls. They turned out good. Got just the right amount of rings for that. I'm pretty sure that those are the only Trinity juggling balls in existence. Oh, come on. Really just do that? Okay, so for tomorrow, continue working on my pitch, and then I have a website to develop. The adding interviews to, like, I don't know, like a Friday night or something. I am still trying to figure out a way to work on that. You've not seen that like them? Yeah, neither have I. Not a lot of people do Trinity, or even know that it's an option. It is a pain in the ass to work with. I will tell you that much right now. But I am still working on getting to an interview stage. I think that would be a nice, well-rounded show. One of the problems is that I've spent a lot of money on lighting, cameras, trying to make this look nice, right? And a lot of crafters and makers, they don't have the equipment readily available in their house. You know, but I suppose you got to start somewhere. So we will probably start out with, you know, people that have not the most ideal camera, and like Zoom calls, and see if we can't just make it better from there. So that is still in the back of my mind, but that has been pushed down. There are other things that I have to focus on. In the short term, especially if I want to stay away from having to go back to work for someone else. All right. Started with an old dresser side and pile of bread, bins, and your laptop. Now you have 4 desks, 5 cabinets, a boom mic, 3 video stands, and 2 GoPros, and 2 cell phone cameras. Nice. 2 GoPros and 2. That's more cameras than what I have, dude. I got the webcam, the other webcam, the overhead cam, and I guess I have a camera on my cell phone. I should probably hook that up. All right, so here we are. I think this is probably going to be the last row in this cube. I just wanted to make it a decent size, and it fits comfortably in my hand, right? And that's kind of just where I wanted it, and I just wanted the one. My next goal is to make a set of 3 for juggling, and I may just include that in those. Okay, these are a decent size for juggling. Then, really the next thing I want to do is the cube in cube in cube project, but I don't want to do it out of aluminum. So I will figure out what kind of material, find a way to purchase the rings for that, and we'll go from there. That middle line on one side looks off on camera. Well, it's not in the middle. It's like, it's to this side. Like, it's not centered in any way. Does that make sense? I mean, this is all still a layer in process. Yeah, this is what I was just working on. I finished up the row beneath it and I finished up the layer beneath it and got 1 row done on here. So, and I don't know if that's the correct way how to do it. You know, I'm not a professional chainmail artist like some people. I am just fucking around and finding out. This thing's too cool. I love it. All right. So, if you want to come hang out with me tomorrow night, I should be back on at 9. Tomorrow's Tuesday. A lot of stuff to do tomorrow. A lot of stuff to figure out. Today everybody's home, so I didn't get as much done as I would have liked, but I did get a significant amount of stuff done. So yeah, it's still in process. You only mess around if you were a pro, you would only buy rings? What are you trying to say there? Are you throwing some shade? That's funny. Alright guys. We'll be back tomorrow night at 9 for the completion of the Jelly Cube, and maybe some more, because that will probably take most of the hour, but we might work on something else after that. In the meantime, you all have a wonderful evening. Be sure to invite your friends, tell them how great Chainmail is. Share the stream, like the stream. Those are free ways to support me. If you want to send me money, you can, or you can go to MailleWerX.com, pick yourself out something nice, and support the stream that way. Excuse me. What else? Be sure to follow along on Twitch and YouTube, and download the MailleWerX app if you haven't already. Let me know what you think. Other than that, I think that's all the housekeeping we have to do. So, if you guys need me between now and tomorrow night, you know where to find me. All right. You guys all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments and contributions. I do appreciate you all. All right, I will talk to you all later. Have a good night. Bye.